Hello again. This is Stephen Welsh, President of the International Chiropractors Association, with your weekly update for Monday, August 3rd. We are now in yet another month of social distancing, masks, and quarantines. And for the past 4 months, we have been stressing the importance of the health of the host and the importance of the innate immune system. Today, we will start with comedian Bill Maher, followed by a video of Dr. Greg Kotchuk, the WFC Research Chair, and then we will end with comments as to what the ICA is doing and why the ICA needs your support in the reorganization which will further the ICA vision, mission, and objectives. So let's begin. Here is comedian Bill Maher as he returns with a few choice words regarding the best thing that you can do for yourselves and your patients during this pandemic.
Public Health England found that people with a body mass index of 35 to 40 have a 40% greater risk of dying from COVID. And over 40, it's a 90% greater risk. I don't think it's a coincidence that the countries with the lowest rates of obesity have had the fewest COVID deaths. And pointing all this out doesn't make me In fact, the shame is on everyone in media and government who is too cowardly to emphasize how important an issue this is. But make no mistake, America fighting COVID is like a boxer who went into the ring out of shape and is taking a beating for it. But the people in charge of health during a health crisis, Dr. Fauci, Dr. Birx, Surgeon General Adams, head of the CDC, Dr. Redfield, National Institutes of Health Director, Dr. Francis Collins, they never really mentioned the one major thing most people could do to ensure a better outcome should they get it. To me, it's such a scandal these doctors won't look straight in the camera and say, the number one thing you can do to improve your chances is to be in better general health.
Now, I'm not really a Bill Maher fan, but I have to admit, this time he hit the nail on the head. Now, today, I'd like to begin a new conversation. One about the ICA's efforts to answer the comments and blatant attacks of a few chiropractors, mostly researchers and academics from outside the United States, who are on a mission to change the chiropractic profession. And their mission first came to the attention of the ICA in March of 2019, when the World Federation of Chiropractic held its biennial Congress in conjunction with the European Chiropractic Union. You see, it was at that meeting that two members of the WFC Research Council used their positions to announce and promote their agenda, as they referred to their divisive research paper calling for a divorce within the profession. It was at that conference, on stage, that the subluxation was called an imaginary entity. It was at that conference that the vitalistic approach was called, in their words, a poor strategy for the profession. It was at that conference that one researcher even recommended divorcing themselves from the vitalistic X-ray utilizing subluxation-based doctors. At that conference, the chair of the Research Council even inappropriately invoked a reference to a Catholic priest being sent to a preschool in a comparison aimed at subluxation-focused chiropractors. Now, today, I would like you to hear from that researcher, Dr. Kotchuk himself, as he addressed the ECU convention in Budapest in 2018. This is what he had to say.
There's no absolute freedom of speech. And in chiropractic, we have the same. Just because you got a certificate or a diploma on your wall is no right to say whatever you like. There's no absolute right of freedom of speech. And that's where the regulators come in. Regulators can say, you know, you can't say you do surgery on people. You can't say that you deliver babies if you're not trained. So the regulators control that. So, sort of like in society, chiropractic has its hard limits as well. So who speaks for us is a very relevant question, because more than any other time, we all have a voice and we're all using it. So what's the strategy going forward? Who do our collaborators and our politicians and our policymakers listen to? Right? So When it all started, there was really only one voice in our profession. It was the founder. It was the king. It was the person who created it, and when they were still alive, they could say, well, what I really meant was this. And then a month later or 2 months later, you know, I was kind of thinking we should also be doing this. And then that person died, Dee died, and then guess what happened? The monarchy continued, and then the son's voice became the voice of the profession. But, you know, the Palmers just weren't that prolific. They didn't have a royal lineage that we could follow, so pretty soon other people filled in the gaps, and that's where we saw the gurus speaking for the profession, right? Everyone had their take on it now, and it was a challenge to who were you going to listen to? Who leads the profession? We're in an era where we have this now, science. So who leads the profession? I would suppose to you today that now we're in the era where no one leads the profession. Science, not a person. We're making a jump to where science leads the profession, and we represent the science. Our job is to not have an opinion that comes out of nowhere. Our job is to be good stewards and representatives of this, of the science, because it's much easier to develop a position on that rather than a position that doesn't have evidence. So how do we go about doing it? How do we make this transition for us to be representatives of the science as a profession versus representatives of our own views, or what our teachers told us, or what our family members who were chiropractors wanted us to do? How do we make that change? That's a big change for a profession. Something's never happened in our history. Now you have to be brave. You have to be brave, because we're no longer in the position where we always have to negotiate. There are actually some right answers now. We don't have to give equal time to craziness. There are sometimes right answers that we can stand up for. So why? Why do we care about this? It would be easy just to go into practice, do your thing, retire, and never have to worry about any of this, right? Everyone's doing okay. Why upset the boat? Well, the reason is that people are watching. But it's not can we produce the research anymore. People are watching, how do we use it? Do we stand by it? Do we live by it? Do we let the practitioner who says that we should drink juice instead of get a flu shot or a vaccination, do we let that go?
Now, here are my takeaways from what Dr. Kawchuk had to say. Number one, he's calling for the regulators to silence our ability to spread the word about the truth of chiropractic. The chiropractic elitists, the ones that don't practice, will petition the chiropractic boards to control your speech and determine what you can say on your website and about what you do and how you practice. Now, did you know that hundreds of DCs, our colleagues in Canada, are currently under investigation by their regulators because they dared to refer to subluxations on their website or posted a testimonial from a patient that did not refer to neck pain and back pain only? Well, here's the second takeaway. Dr. Kawchuk believes that it is we, the ICA doctors, and actually most of the doctors as they practice in the United States, we're the one that are the crazies, and that our way of practice, the way of DD and BJ, it can no longer be tolerated in their new model of what chiropractic should be. The third takeaway, Dr. Kawchuk seems to believe that eating a healthy lifestyle should not be promoted, but flu shots and vaccinations should. 4, do you even realize that some of the chiropractic programs in the United States are siding with these WFC researchers? Well, you know, only the ICA is standing up to these attacks. No other association or organization seems to be willing to set aside political correctness and take a public stand against this nonsense. Now I need to break some shocking news. In an obvious reaction to the ICA complaint filed last year, a new complaint has been filed by 8 national chiropractic associations who are seeking to kick the ICA out of the WFC because, and I quote, the ICA is damaging the reputation of our profession. And because they claim that, and again I quote, as evidence-based associations, the undersigned cannot afford to be affiliated with an organization promoting these dangerous and unproven claims. Now let me read to you what the ICA is accused of promoting. And again I quote, by insisting that one can optimize the nervous system through chiropractic care, especially during a global pandemic, patients will be misinformed and put in danger of disrespecting clinical and scientifically accepted measures to protect themselves from COVID-19. The next quote of what the ICA is accused of is reflected in this sentence. In-person care during the pandemic also potentially increases risk of transmission for the provider, putting his or her family and livelihood at risk should they be exposed to COVID. And then they continue, the blatant disregard for the health and well-being of both the patient and the practitioner is immoral. Now, they further claim that this consistent challenge of the WFC's brand and the WFC's public positions regarding the profession only serve to damage the reputation of the corporation and the profession at large. The WFC and its member associations have endorsed the core values of EPIC, adhering to evidence-based, people-centered, interprofessional, and collaborative actions. Well, that's it in a nutshell. Now, for the record, the ICA does honor and respect the core values of EPIC. You see, ICA doctors are evidence-based, and they are people-centered, and they do collaborate interprofessionally. And you know what? They are seeing their patients during this pandemic. Why? Because to not see them in their time of need is what would be wrong and immoral. You see, the ICA has existed for 94 years, 62 years before the WFC was ever even organized. The ICA has withstood the test of time. It is the brand of BJ. It is the brand that acknowledges the philosophy, the art, and the science of chiropractic. So there you have it. Now you know what the ICA board sees on the horizon. Now you know one of the reasons that the ICA needs to restructure its organization, to expand internationally, okay, to grow and gather allies in order to protect chiropractic. Well, anyway, that's my update for today. Next week, we'll review a couple of the research papers co-authored by Dr. Kotchuk, what they claim, what they mean, and why I consider them fake research. And that fake research is being indexed in PubMed. So meanwhile, please check out the ICA COVID research page where you can read the entire complaint against the ICA. And doctors, please share these messages with friends and colleagues. And please reach out and connect with the ICA. If you're an ICA member, thank you for your support. And if not, now is the time to join as we gather to protect and promote vitalistic, subluxation-based chiropractic around the world. Now, we're here to help you, to help your patients, because they still need that reassurance that there's no need for mass panic. And don't forget, you are truly their beacon of hope, and we will get through these challenging times, and we will do it by working together. Thank you.